Good morning, everyone. This is Mrs. Stone, and today's writing lesson is going to be on color editing. I love to color edit. I think it helps you figure out what you need to do, and it doesn't put so much pressure on your home teacher for you to figure it all out. And so we're going to go through color editing today, and this is a technique that you're going to use on the other paragraphs that you write at home. So it'll be on your assignment sheet when you're supposed to do them. And if you need to, I will leave this video up so that you can go back and reference it if you forget how to do it. So let's go back to the geography paragraph that I wrote, and it looked like this. And then in the blue, I told you that's a transition sentence that you could either put on the end of your geography paragraph or put it as the first sentence of your next paragraph. You just had to have a transition between your paragraphs. What I decided to do is I decided to go ahead and stick it on the end of my geography paragraph. Okay, the very first thing I want you to do, you should have your colored pencils in front of you. If you don't, you need to go grab them and then come back to the video. But you should have them. What I want you to do is I want you to get your blue and your red colored pencils out. The reason why we're doing colored pencils is because markers will make a mess. All right, so your home teacher should have typed a nice copy of what you've written, exactly what you've written, because they're going to this will help you find mistakes and everything like that also. So what you need to do is you need to take your blue colored pencil, and I want you to go through and I want you to underline, not highlight, underline your very first sentence of that paragraph with a blue colored pencil. Then after you're done with that, you're going to take your red colored pencil and you're going to highlight the next sentence. The reason why I'm doing this is a couple of reasons. First of all, we're going to be looking for choppy short sentences. So this is going to help you identify choppy short sentences by looking at it. And if I see a line that is extremely shorter than all the other lines, then I know I probably need to fix that. And we've talked before about fixing choppy sentences. You can make them compound sentences. You can make them complex sentences. You can do all sorts of things with them just to not make them so short. Now, it also is going to show you if you've missed punctuation, and it is also going to show you if you missed capitalization, because you have to identify the sentence, and usually you identify a sentence by starting with a capital letter and ending with some sort of punctuation. So once you get that done, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and do your entire paragraph. You're alternating between blue and red, just like that. So whenever you're finished with that, come back to the paragraph, and I'm going to show you some other things that I want you to do. All right, now that you are back, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to get your green colored pencil out. You're going to take your green colored pencil and you're going to go through and you're going to circle the very first word in every single sentence. Now, this is going to do a couple of things. It's also going to show you capitalization mistakes, but it's also going to help with variety of sentences. If I start my sentences the same way every single time, then I'm not getting a variety of sentences, and it's making it sound more like a checklist than it is a nice fluid paragraph. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through, take your green colored pencil, and you're going to circle every single first word of those sentences. Now, I've done it with mine, and if you look at mine, you'll notice that I don't start the sentences with the same word. My rule is generally no more than 2 times. So if I start sentence number 1 with the word the, and I start sentence number 2 with the word the, then I need to make sure that sentence number 3 does not start with the word the. So you can have the same word twice in a row, but no more than that. What this does is it forces you to rework your sentences, and it forces you to give me sentence variety. All your sentences don't sound the same. So after you do that, come back to the video, and I will show you what I want you to do next. All right, now that you are back, the next one, the home teacher may need to help you with, but I think we've talked about it before. What you're going to do is you're going to take your colored pencil, your purple colored pencil, and you are going to go through and you're going to look for all of the helping or linking verbs in your paragraph. If you don't remember what helping and linking verbs, you can go back to your grammar workbook because we've already talked about those, but those are the words like is, are, were, was, has, have, had. All of those words are all either linking or helping verbs. I want you to go into your paragraph and I want you to find every single example of that, and I want you to put a purple square around it. I've started mine, and eventually mine's going to look like this. Now, I didn't use them. I think I've only used 6. Some of you may have used 14 or something like that. I want you to find all of them. This does a couple of things. We're going to change half of them, and I'll explain that in just a minute. And we're going to change them just to action verbs. Also, this gives me sentence variety, and it also helps me look if I've kept the same tense. Okay, remember we had to have verb and subject agreements, and the tenses all had to make sense, and you couldn't have something in past tense and then switch in the middle of the paragraph to something that was present tense. So we're making sure that all of our paragraphs, I would like to have them in present tense. You're talking about your country now. So what I'm going to do is I've counted up 6. And so what I'm going to do is I want you to cut that number in half. So now when I go back to rework my sentences, I can keep 3 of those. That means I need to change 3 of them. So let's look at the second sentence. That's where my first one is. It says, this gigantic country that spans more than 3.7 million square miles is comparable in size to the United States. How can I reword that? All I need to do is says this gigantic country that spans more than 3.7 million square miles compares in size to the United States. That's all I had to do. It helps give me sentence variety, and all of my sentences aren't sounding the same. So whatever your number is, I want you to cut that in half. Now some of you might get 6.5, okay? I will let you round down so that you won't have to do as many. But I really want you to do this, and I'm going to be looking for this. When you turn in your rough drafts and in your final papers, I'm going to look and see if you actually did cut this number in half. So after you do that, come back to the video and I'll show you what we're doing next. All right, now that you are back, I want you to find a yellow colored pencil, and home teachers, you may need to do this one for them. What I want them to do, or you to do, is go through and I want you to highlight some nouns. Not all nouns, but I want you to go highlight nouns that they neglected to put an adjective in front of, something that could be more descriptive. So I want you to go through and find several examples for them. Don't tell them what the adjective needs to be or something like that. If they've got a noun that could definitely use an adjective or 2 adjectives in front of it, then I want you to highlight that in yellow so that they can go back and fix that when they are revising. So all nouns in your paragraph do not need adjectives, okay? But some of them desperately need adjectives, especially when you're describing the country. So like in my very first one, I highlighted the word features, but I looked in front of it and I actually have 2 adjectives, vast and geographical. So those help describe my noun. So moms, you probably need to help them with this. I don't want you to help them with appropriate words, but I would like for you to find the nouns for them that could be beefed up a little bit and described a little bit better. All right, the last thing I need for you to do, you can stop the video and then come back whenever you're ready. But the last thing I need for you to do is I want you to find your brown colored pencil. Now with your brown colored pencil, I want you to go through and I want you, remember when we talked about word or noun reference? we gave an example of like a giraffe. All through my paragraph, I didn't say the giraffe did this, the giraffe looked like this, I kept using the word giraffe, giraffe, giraffe over again. We described giraffe in a different way. We said like the long-necked creature. So I knew that the long-necked creature was referring to giraffe. I didn't have to say the word giraffe over and over and over again. So if you'll notice in my paragraph, in the second sentence, I didn't say China. I'm not going to say China, 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 because it's not giving me sentence variety. All right. So what I did is I said this gigantic country. Well, that's referring to China. I didn't say China, but because you know my paragraph is about China, you know that that is referring, is a word referring back to China. So I want you to go through and make sure that you have some of those in there also. I don't want you to use your country's name over and over and over again. You might describe it as a mountainous country, or um, the country on the island, or something like that. But I don't want you to use the name over and over. So this gives your sentences a little bit more variety. Okay, remember that your paragraphs need to be around 10, 15 sentences, somewhere in there, that they definitely have to have a transition. I'm going to look specifically for transitions in the paragraph and between the paragraph. I'm going to look for word reference. I'm going to look for if you've cut your helping and linking verbs down by half. There's a lot of things that I'm going to be looking for to see if you followed my video and was doing it with me. So before you throw any rough drafts away, you're going to be required to turn in all rough drafts at the end of your paper. Your final paper is going to be typed, but I have to have all rough drafts, all revisions, everything that you did that goes along with your paper. I will be sending home a folder when it gets closer to time, so you can stick all of that in there. But this ensures a couple of things. It ensures that you are helping with the revisions, that these are your words, okay? And so I need it in your handwriting. Now, these color edited paragraphs, I put on the assignment sheet that those need to be typed up and then color edited, because it just makes it too messy when it's handwritten and you're trying to do this. So it's better to color edit typed things. Now, I expect you to take this color edited paragraph, make revisions to it, and then keep it, and then you'll be typing, or your home teacher, whichever guys you choose, you'll be typing this before you turn it in without all the colors on it. But you should make revisions to this. You should be able to find some of your mistakes by just doing the color editing. So I hope that is clear on what I want you to do. I will leave this up because I don't know what paragraphs you chose. I don't know if you decided to eliminate history or economy or what you decided to eliminate. But this color editing technique, I'm going to have you do on every single paragraph. Okay, the paragraph that you write at school and the paragraph, the introductory and the closing paragraphs, we won't do this because it'll only be like a couple of sentences. But for these nice long paragraphs, I want you to color edit it. It's going to help find your mistakes and make you make great corrections. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you understand it. Home teachers, shoot me an email in the doc folder. If you don't understand, what might be a good way to do it is to print off maybe the page that you don't understand and add a little note onto the actual picture of the slide, so I can kind of help narrow down what you're not really understanding and I want them to do. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see you at school.